Hello!
How's it going?
Hey,
Welcome to the Craftsman Show. I am your host, the Craftsman. No, I'm not the Craftsman. Welcome to the Andor After Show with Super John and Sir Eric. How's everyone doing today?
I'm Freedy.
You're
Oh,
Freedy and Duty? I don't know, crazy name. But
Doing
cool
well.
to
How are
see
you?
some creatures back into Star Wars television.
Freedy lost both of his arms. He didn't have hands.
Yeah, no doubt. Got knife arm and like weird
And like
things to
cannon
get.
arm or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And also, like, we hardly get to see so far in the series, the 10 hours we've had, B2 emo droid, and we fall in love with him even more in this episode just because we feel for him and how he's sad and whatnot. So interesting, none the least, how we barely know this droid, and we're getting to love him like he's an R2 or a BB-8
Yeah.
or another droid that we
This
remember.
is the episode why they named him B2 Emo for being emotional.
Yeah.
There you go. Good call. Because very much so, right? Like two little scenes. They had to get personal with the damn little robot to let them know, right? And it's interesting because it's we know robots are not like a thing you can talk with and get a response, in that kind of way that they're portraying. And it's pretty neat to see. It's one of the things I've always loved about Star Wars is that they have. Even though they don't have feelings, they do. They have
Personality.
feelings. Yeah, the personality is what it is. Welcome to G-Force and Timmy Nibbles the hamster. How you guys doing today? So maybe Vern is still watching Andor right now. He's probably in the opening credits.
Yeah.
I know not everyone can catch it in the immediate 12 hours of afterwards with being really old like Vern, because you go to bed at 6 p.m. on a weekday, and I'm assuming because he's a grandpa, he gets up 10 a.m. or so.
Hey, Gerard.
So yeah, there's only a couple hours between work and sleep and going to the old folks' home that Vern has a chance to watch the Andor show. But I like to go right after. I used to go at midnight, 1 o'clock, and just because I was so excited about whatever the show was, whether it was the Mando show or the Book of Boba Fett, and then Kenobi show. But I'm kind of most excited for the next week's episode for Andor this year, to be honest. Like, as much as I miss the next upcoming Mandoverse, probably
I'm sad it's coming to an end.
But this one, we got another hour to go, hopefully more if we're lucky. And we know the story's not over because there's a whole another season to come. But I hope there's some closure and even some more backstory on some of these characters.
Well, at the end, we'll have to get predictions, updated predictions for the finale, especially after that Hollywood Reporter article or interview with Tony Gilroy.
Yeah, no, those interviews usually drop the day after like an episode. So I expect another one, Variety or New Yorker or some other magazine to drop tomorrow or the next day.
Oh, are you talking about we didn't see a dead body? That one?
Well, yeah, that one, and
for Andy Serkis,
and referring to Luthen's future. So all of my crackpot theories are out the window about Luthen being hanged.
Well, they're making it seem like he's going to be around in another
season
bunch of episodes. Yeah, so next season, of course.
Which is good. He's a great character.
He's more and more looking like the guy behind the rebellion. Like, not Mon Mothma or someone else. It's looking like him. So he hasn't got a title that we know of. Like, will he become a general or an admiral or captain or something, like whatever his real name is too, right? Like, I still think there's something about him that he's keeping a secret. Of course, I think there's a lot about him he's keeping secret from everyone, including maybe not including Clea. I think she may know everything about him that he has to offer, but I think he knows a lot about the Sith and the Jedi stuff, and it's not just props in the background of a store.
Yeah,
kyber crystals that we see maybe using a ship and his ship's real fancy and stuff like that. So I think he knows a lot about the Sith and the Jedi, and maybe even know that
he's old enough to have
Palpatine is the Emperor. Like,
yeah, he's old enough to have been like around since the prequels, you know.
As he said, 15 years he's been doing this fight and stuff, right?
Just like we saw Mon Mothma and you know what I mean and stuff. So, hey, Paul, how you doing?
Hey,
no problem. Good to see you. Hope you're doing better. You can go to bed and watch Andor. That's always good. You might fall asleep in this episode. A little bit of action, but it's more than halfway through, kind of thing. But the music's picking up. I noticed that. Like when a couple of times in this episode, I thought the show was going to end. Like, because the scene with Luthen and Saw, and they're talking, and then the music gets louder, and I'm like, oh, damn. And then they went somewhere else. So it is very much, even though the show's not over, it's anticipating me. It's making me anticipate the next scene that they're going to, whether the show's over or not. And even when the show ended today, I'm like, oh, they're going to end it here. And they did end it there. On a good spot, too.
I have a nasty habit of pausing to see how much time's remaining. So I'm like, I just can't wait. I'm like, I got to know how much is left.
Yeah, but for this one, I know at the beginning it's, I think it's at 48 minutes or 56 minutes. So I know going into it, even without looking at a clock on my wall or my iPhone, of course I know what time it is in my head, but I try to avoid it.
I find it very misleading because there's like 18 minutes of credits at the end in every single language they have, you know.
True.
If there's 18 minutes of credits at the end, there's like a half hour of the opening with the opening sequence you have to skip.
Hopefully.
But the opening sequence is interesting. Like normally I skip through it, but the music that plays when you see the Andor background and whatnot, they keep adding additional layers.
Yeah. So I've noticed that too. Like either it gets louder, and I've seen like some of the Screen Rant guys and stuff talk about, oh, this week they added some drums, and now this week for this episode, more horns. So they're filling the seats of the orchestra. He's making it, sound very, very artsy fartsy. But I want to bring this up just because you brought up the music. Remember there's that Disney special, kind of the making of Andor.
Yeah.
The director talked about the music and how it was being performed there on set while they were filming, and they showed like the band players, like they had toques and scarves, and they were on the street playing their violins and whatnot, and there was like a scene on the street. So I still want to know how much of the show was done like that, because as we see, a lot of it's like done on like location out in Scotland or on this planet here. You can't bring the band off planet, right? So you got to keep them in the studio or on your filming set. Yeah. But I hope there's more of that making of stuff.
There will be.
At the end of Kenobi and Mando, there's another hour of here's how we did this shit.
Yeah, I love the Disney gallery.
I think they'll have
for Andor.
They'll have two of them for this one because they'll have a season 1 making of, and then a
good point. Good point.
Like they've done with the Mandalorian,
And it's great content for their the streaming services or YouTube or whatever, to have these making of or broken into clips or what. Yeah, I'm all over that kind of stuff. So these should be in order. Forgive me.
Did they?
I believe.
Do you think
was the first thing we saw?
Do you think they had to climb this cliff, or did they jump off the side? Did they jump off the side so that the Imperials wouldn't see them?
Either way,
I think the latter. Fun. I think the latter, but it was really cool because the Imperial fighter that was chasing them, or was patrolling, was a TIE Reaper that you first saw.
The Reaper,
you first see it in Rogue One with the Death Troopers and whatnot coming out of in the beaches.
That's like got the one wing on the top kind of thing, right?
It's like angled with like a bigger hull. It's like the equivalent like a to U-wing. Yeah, it's like a support ship. It actually, if you ever play the Star Wars Squadrons like flight simulator game, the TIE Reaper is the equivalent to the U-wing.
It can carry carry a number of troops, like what, like 6 or 8 or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Like the U-wing. Like the U-wing has that lower section that can carry the troops, Yeah.
So that I remember I was saying last week how there's one piece of concept art that hasn't showed up yet, and what it looks like Andor and a beat up A-wing fighter. We didn't see that this episode, so I wonder if we still get to see that in the season 1, or if it will be an unused piece of concept art. I looked today; it's still on StarWars.com, so they haven't removed it. Luthen's ship is freaking wild, man. Like
I want the toy even more now.
Yep.
After seeing this episode.
Will be a very popular toy when it comes out. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we're going to see it. That sequence.
Probably the mission fleet first. They tend to get these ships out pretty quickly for the mission fleet.
Yeah.
It's going to end up being another HasLab.
Would you back it
for 3.75 inch figures? Yes, I would. Definitely
for 3.75 inch, that could be a $29 toy in Walmart. That's ridiculous.
Because here's the thing: if they made it a HasLab, that back end would open up and it would have like a whole array of missiles that could shoot out.
Yeah, but come with 100 missiles.
And then they would have the wings be able to fold it. We've seen the wings now fold into 2 positions. One position when it landed, and now this battle position where it opened those side doors where the lasers came out.
Yeah.
So all that would be in a HasLab thing. But if they did it for regular retail and lowered the price, like you said, to $30 or $40, it wouldn't have any of those features. It would just be the ship. But I would want all those extra features, so I would want it to be
just make it retro correction and part of it cardboard, and I'll be okay.
They'd have to have the bathroom and closet with the expandable kind of setup and
for his wigs.
The wig. You'd have to have a wig accessory for Luke.
Yeah.
His action figure should come with a removable wig, but now I'm thinking they'll make 2 figures.
Yeah, it'd probably just be a different head, but yeah.
We were talking about that last week, like the retro figures that I want. 2 characters that I wanted showed up in this episode today.
Freedy and the other one.
Well, there's 2 new figures. The two.
I want them as
wearing the one guy was wearing like a turtle hat.
Shell hat,
like a turtle shell. So the show actually did open up through the eye of B2 Emo.
Well, this is the weird thing. He was looking through the glass. So does he have an eye on top of his head?
No.
Because
it was kind of foggy. Like
we saw the liquid. We saw the liquid slosh around through his eye, and then he jittered a little bit, and the glass was going to fall off the top of his head. So it led me to believe we were looking straight up through the glass.
I don't think so, based on the models of the character.
I think he just didn't want to be used as a coffee table. And he was
but why
get off me?
Seeing liquid through his eye. You know what I mean?
I think that was just the perspective to show.
Yeah, just camera play. Because it almost looked like eyelashes too for a minute. Like it was, like a human eye. Or looking through a curtain or something. But I just think he didn't want this Tupperware coffee cup that you can probably buy on Amazon right now on him.
Yeah.
But Buddy caught it. What's Buddy's name? Brasso caught it. He's got good reflex. And we saw a little bit of it in with his relation with Andor and with Marva, who we find out Marva passed away off screen, sadly. But we see how close he is to that family. So it's not just Andor; it's him and Bix are obviously close with her as a person as well. And now we're seeing a little relationship between Brasso and B2 Emo. So I wonder if that's where the droid will end up.
Well, yeah, I mean Brasso's treating him with kindness, whereas someone must have just used him as a coffee table, as you were pointing out.
It's kind of sad. Everyone that would come in the house would kind of treat him with some respect, right? If it's Marva's friends, right? So,
well, the daughters of Ferrex, he's supposed to help. So, but it is kind of sad seeing B2 next to Marva's chair and her cane.
Yeah, and her cane.
It's almost like a sad dog after elderly owner passes.
Yeah, there's a couple good shots like that, and later Brasso like staring at her empty bed kind of thing, right? Not that he used to always stare at her bed or something, so it was a little creepy at the same time. I thought he was like looking for this tunnel, the tunnel that Marva spoke about. So,
or was that wasn't Andor's room? That was her room. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was
how many
Andor's.
bedrooms are in this.
I thought it was Andor's bed, so I thought it was Cassian's bed.
Maybe it's a 2-bedroom. Then we get to see, I guess she's working there.
Yeah, that's her cover spot. Yeah,
that's not Bix. What's her name?
Cinta.
Yes. So Cinta is undercover working at this, Starbucks on Fair.
Right across the street from the old lady.
Yeah. Convenient, eh?
Yeah. Clocking the ISB agent and Marva simultaneously.
Yeah, I liked how the Imperial agent guy is right there,
Yeah, so she knows he's an Imperial spy guy because, she's intelligent.
Not stupid.
And he's got an Imperial, branded baseball cap that Imperials wear. But he doesn't know that, she's like a rebel spy too. So interesting that they're just hanging out in the same place, getting the same point of view of what's going on. And he relays his findings to, home base kind of thing. And she's, I guess, just holding on to the info herself, waiting for her lady friend to come back.
I like how it's a really old quad jumper.
Yeah, those pipes look quite normal. Mm-hmm. Probably the same kind of pipes that were on R2's legs too. So this ship I found out also appeared in the sequels. It's what Ray and Finn are running towards this.
Yeah, the quad
hopper.
Yeah.
Before it gets blown up, and then they get the Falcon instead. And I think it's appeared in one other show as well.
Funny that they're this old. That design is that old, and then Andor even refers to it as being old in this time.
Yeah, and when we see it take off, it's kind of like a clunker, right?
Yeah,
and it's basically just 4 engines, like a little mini cockpit in the front. So it's not a huge ship by all means to have those two, let's say 400-pound alien guys. Freedy and Tweenie, we can't forget them. New action figures, please announce those tomorrow for pre-order in 2024.
And I want the trap. I want to
Welcome,
be able to
Orlando.
I want to be able to set up my vintage action figures and hit a button and have this net go grab them.
Even cool net. Here's a play set, a cardboard play set with some plastic or cardboard rocks in the background, and half of that ship. You only need half of it with a little elevator or something, like the old Jawa play set. That ship. Yeah. Like there's ways they can do it, and they can make it work for $30. Rebels, maybe okay.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's kind of.
It's been in other things. I want to say. I just
So Andor and.
It's funny that they wanted
to see this from the cliff and.
They wanted to run and steal it, and if they had just talked to the guys, they would have given them a ride anyways.
Melcy gets a little excited and runs towards it. My pictures, I guess, are a little bit out of order, but
there he is. Yeah.
But let's just show her because she's pretty and it's very Star Warsy looking. So she's getting the business. What's going down on Ferrix, right? That's where all the action's happening. And she
tells them to give them a pass so they'll do the funeral.
Yeah, let them have a permit to close Rick Street. Remember, I told you that street was going to be very important. Rick Street. It's got to be important, man. Come on. If there's a Super John Street or a Sir Eric Street, I'll give you guys credit. But for now, it's Rick Street. And it's all going down. The finale is going down on Rick Street. You heard it here first.
He missed the
T-shirts
funeral.
made up for the celebration.
He missed the funeral though, so there.
Well, the funeral hasn't happened, right?
No, he said because later on when he goes in to talk to the droid, he says she's been bricked.
Well,
that means they already did the funeral and burnt her and turned her into a brick, which these Imperials say is a 2-day process. So at the end of the 2-day process, she gets burned and turned into a brick, and then
I guess so. He lied to the droid.
Later on, when he talks to the droid, he says they've already bricked her.
Yeah, so
I guess
to the droid, I think.
I guess the way I took that was they they made her a brick, or they cremated her and like put her ashes in a brick, but the actual funeral takes place after that.
And I'm assuming installing that brick is probably going to be part of the ceremony.
Okay.
Right. That
could be then. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it takes 2 days then. Okay. Yeah. All right.
I told you guys both in the chat, there is spoilers going around, and I scrolling Twitter, I did see like a picture like this, like a screenshot of a no, I'm not gonna say what it was, but it was of a screenshot from what I'm assuming is next week's episode. And yeah, so that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say what it was, but it's not like much of a spoiler. We know she died, right?
I haven't seen anything.
Well, yeah, next week is the funeral, and what looks like maybe the people rebel and start their shit, right? They start to fight themselves on Ferrix.
And Dedra Miro and Death Troopers must show up on Ferrix because we've seen it in the trailers, and it hasn't
some
been
of the last
any
scenes.
other
yeah.
And one of the other scenes I didn't bring up last week, but I saw it on another show. There's a scene in one of the trailers of Andor, presumably what looks like to be is in these tunnels that Marva talks about.
Okay.
Okay.
Not to be spoiler alert, it's in one of the trailers that he's in a tunnel, an obvious looking tunnel, running from some stuff. So yeah, Deidre gets the business on. She died. They're gonna have a funeral. Let's let it go down. Let's keep them in a little box so we can keep an eye on them. I think she said, right?
Yep.
Well, they want to capture them. They want.
Yep.
They want Andor.
If it's in a tight spot, when Andor, she knows that Andor will come out, and then
it'll be a kill box.
She's got him. Yeah.
So
I love this. This was my favorite part.
It was pretty cool. These fishnet things that they automatically fired out of these.
You got a really good screenshot of Melshi. Is that Melshi?
That's Melshi, I think. Yeah. Well, yeah, they just bartered with him a little bit. Not really bartered. They just kind of said, that
we hate the Empire.
But I had to, when I watched the second time with the screen titles, with Freedy and Tweety, and what they said, they're talking about the Empire, and they're like, the Empire is poisoning your water and your fish, and they're like, what? Skog the Empire, he says.
Yeah. I like his.
That's how you say "fuck the Empire."
Yeah,
in Star Wars is Skog the Empire.
Here's
my favorite quote of episode 11: is Skog the Empire.
And what was funny was they were clearly like fisherman type characters, and they spoke with like accents like people from Cornwall.
Very cool accent, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a people from Cornwall.
What did he call them? They're like
spoken rhyme a little bit. These Tweety almost spoken rhyme.
Did he call them like Tweety Twos or whatever? He goes, these Tweety Twos are.
He said something funny like that, and
he started off with a little limerick.
Yeah, no,
one for you, one for me.
No biggie dinner tonight, like pastimes, Freedy.
Yeah.
So this one creature that I saw in a clip looked like an unused creature from like the Rogue One creature department with that same kind of robot eye, and first impression was he sounded like Dexter to me, like Obi-Wan, that kind of.
Yeah.
That's a good impression.
Because I think it's the same actor. It sounded like it could be the same actor, but yeah, the turtle.
I like how his arms were really long too. He was cool.
Yeah, they were well done. I'm glad we got to see these guys. Like I've been saying, we've been missing out.
Him. Like what happened?
Way different looking, and they have the same last name too for them to be so different looking, and they're the same alien creatures, according to the credits as well. We got knife hand and maybe some snips or something on the other end.
The other one's like I thought it was a blaster thing, but I don't know. Yeah.
So they negotiated a little bit, and they both decided to let him go. And
you notice his waist is like a droid part. It's like built into his skin.
It does look a little weird.
Strange.
Yeah. And the other guy's got some big breastises that I didn't get on the screenshot. But
I didn't think they were the same race, but I guess they could be.
Very different looking.
I was wondering the same thing, John. Yeah,
but they fit in Star Wars right now. Like
they're
Star Wars canon creatures now, and I freaking love them. And the ship too. Like, look at that ship. It looks like nothing. Like 4 rolls of toilet paper and like a little scrunched up bit at the front.
But they did very Star Wars. But they did say that they were offering a 1,000 credit bounty for each prisoner.
Yeah.
Yeah, they mentioned that too. But he also
said
the Empire.
Yeah.
So Clea sees a little stalker in the window here. So I guess the doors are always locked and they got to buzz you in, kind of.
I like the rotating door.
Detroit or Chicago. Got to get buzzed in the doors.
I think it was the first Star Wars revolving door we've seen.
Yeah, it's cooler than our revolving doors.
That locks. But yeah, so unannounced, Val needs to go speak with, not with Clea. He wants to speak with Luthen. And I don't think they get along too well. I don't think they're sharing blankets. You know what I'm saying?
No, she wants to be more secretive. Like, even noticed when she talked to Luther and later on, it's all in code. Like, she doesn't
that I really, really liked. Like, that was on purpose. Like,
Clea doesn't want to talk in real terms in any situation. She always wants to talk in code. Yeah. It's like she thinks that their shop is bugged. Everything is bugged. Everything is being watched.
No, it's very wise. I think it's very wise.
Yeah.
Unlike, Mon Mothma and freaking Val here, like they can't seem to shut up about their stuff. So I think Val, without saying she's gonna get killed, but I can see her getting captured because I think she's playing this game stupidly, and I think that Luthen not gonna get killed, but I can see him getting captured. Like, I can see him getting something like that happening to him, where
not now.
Maybe people got to save him or something.
He's getting away now. I mean,
the
way we saw him get away from those Imperials, Luthen's not getting caught. Hey, Geeks. What's up, Mark?
Hello, Mark.
But her, I mean, Val's too emotional. She's being a operative and agent. That's. And she's being way too emotionally driven.
And she was warned before, right? Yeah. About contacting Cinta and how that would put not only herself in danger, but Cinta.
So, yeah, she mentioned, I marked the sidewalk or the meeting spot, and Clea's like, yeah, we'll see it tomorrow. And she's like, no, it's like an emergency. Where is he? And then she drops on her like, well, I brought you Melanie or what's the planet thing? But she Aldani, yeah, and she's like, "What have you done?" kind of thing.
Bitch, please.
So yeah, the guilt trip's being laid down here as well that we saw last week, where Luthen and Imperial spy Lonnie were giving each other like a guilt trip, right? Like, what have you lost? And I've lost this, and Val kind of drops this on her. Well, what have you done, or what's your sacrifice? And she's like, everything, like. Every minute of the day, I got people like you at my freaking door, not following the rules, and and I was like, damn, man, like she's got to deal with all this shit like all the time. We don't see it all, but so now we have to assume that there's many others, much like Val and not like Lutheran, but like Val, who are spies,
agents,
agents for this rebellion cause.
Well, it made me think
really interesting to know that.
Based on what Clea said with how much she's like given everything to this cause, has she been in it almost 15 years, just like Luthen? You know what I mean?
It'd be interesting to know because she'd be
like
a teenager, right? I'm sure
it just
only
made her
like 30 or something now, right? They can't be that old.
That'd be interesting to learn more of Clea's motivations because she's probably one of the most radical of the bunch.
Yeah, and again, she's reminding me way too much of what Princess Leia should be doing right about now. Even though Princess Leia would be 17,
she's only like 12 years old right now.
She would be in this kind of rebel starting position we're all kind of led to believe. So it's very weird, but also very interesting that she is such a comparable character to the Princess Leia character that we will.
Except that Princess Leia is only 12 years old.
So it's still just it's a little bit mind-boggling because the names freaking rhyme too, and he's done that on purpose, and he's pulling at her. He's pulling at something, man. Yeah, and we learn how much money Mon Mothma's been spending too. And where's this money going? Like,
well, she said it before that she said it before that the amount that's missing was 400,000.
Yeah. So, but she's been sending 100,000 every month for a long time, apparently, right? So I just got this screenshot because it was the beginning of the next scene. But we just see a guy working on like a little droid in the street here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that
mech suit looking chappy thing, but
does kind of look like Chappie. Yeah.
What's up, Pete?
Star Warsy.
PGM Pete's here.
How you doing, Peter?
Hey.
So yeah, spoiler alert! If you haven't watched Andor, we're talking Andor, and then this guy's back.
Oh, the bell guy. Yeah, the
Hammer guy.
Rick's doppelganger.
So we get this guy before we get Hammerhead. All problems. There'll be problems. All problems with everyone. But yeah, very cool to see this guy. Because he seems like a very important character in the story, and
he's absolutely
next week
he's the highest level rebel.
I think next week we'll be seeing some stormtrooper buckets getting smashed by those two hammers. There's a left coast theory. I don't even need a song for that. It will happen. And we're also going to see one of my favorite new characters. Did I write his name down?
Freedy.
I think his name is Attendant Heert. You know what I'm talking about, Eric? That's the big Irish commander security guy that worked with Serial.
Oh, I thought that guy's name was Sergeant.
I tried to get it in the credits, and
Sergeant something or other.
Okay, we'll just call him Sarge.
Sergeant Mosk.
Sergeant Mosk. Okay, but that guy, I think we're going to see him next week. Maybe not smashing stormtrooper helmets with hammers, but because in the trailer,
was he the one who called him?
Yeah. That was the big Scottish guy,
he's Scottish.
Or maybe he's Irish. I'm not sure, but he sounds freaking brilliant. I love the character's accent. But yeah, Hammer Guy, welcome, Hammer Guy. Good to see you. And we see a little scene where Brasso goes back to the house. Of course, he's being spied on again, and all
did they fix his leg? I thought he had a yellow leg.
It's his back right.
It's the other side.
Yeah.
But he goes around, turns out the lights, and he's telling the B2, okay, come with me. You know, she's not here no more. And that's where he kind of said, you know, she's buried or she's in a brick now. So he's kind of just trying to get the droid out of there, really, right? And the droid kind of, I'm still charging, like whining. And
I like his charging station because it kind of cool. Flops open. It's almost like a crib for a child.
It is very much. It's very it's very baby-like in a way.
It's like the stations for your vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't have a remote control vacuum cleaner like some people, John. You got a Roomba or something?
No, we don't. No, I'm just saying I've seen them at other people's houses, and they have those little docking stations that they roll up
those
into.
Vintage lawn chairs were
they
were ass Gilster. They could have just erased those and had no lawn chairs.
They're not even vintage. You can buy. Vern put up a video. You can buy them on Amazon right now.
So silly.
But
yeah, in this scene, I guess he lied to the droid.
No.
But yeah, maybe he's saying she's been bricked. She's just being prepared for the funeral, and they'll just hold up a brick at the funeral or something. I don't know.
No, I kind of think that you guys are right. They brick her first, and then there's a ceremony that they march down the road with and hold
Rick's
her
Road,
up, and then they put her in a spot. So you're probably right with that. Yeah.
Well, they put her in a spot, or they throw the brick in the face of some Imperial.
I think Super John and maybe you, Sir Eric, you might have both have brought this up, thinking maybe that K2SO is what used to be this droid, and I just don't see it. This droid is too juvenile and emotional.
They don't have the same personality, so no, I don't think so.
So
maybe initially would have thought that, but at this point, I think they're going to.
No, at this point, different. No.
Because we've only had minutes of screen time with this droid, like 10 minutes maybe over the 8 hours or 10 hours we've had. So we just know he's made a couple of beeps and boops, and he was clean at one time and not all beaten up, and now he's all beaten up, and it's 25 something years later, right? So it's like it's cool. Like, there could be more story with him. I don't think we're gonna get a bunch more Andor flashbacks, but I mean, it'd be neat if we knew how he got the yellow leg. Like, just same with C-3PO and his red arm. They just threw that at us and they're like, oh no, read the comic.
They explained that.
Shut up, man! Don't just make his arm red and tell us to read a comic in 3 months.
They don't. The stupid thing is
it's not that important.
I don't think they need to even explain that stuff because they never explained in Star Wars why he had a silver leg, and it's not till
they just ran out of the gold paint that day.
It's not
because it's gold in like the next scene. It's
gold
both.
at the end of Star Wars when they clean him up. Yeah. When Princess Leia cleans him up before the ceremony. He gets a fully gold leg, so that by Empire and Jedi, he's got a fully gold leg. So,
but B2 whines a little bit and gives him a little like blinky blink of his red eye, and convince him to stay the night, just one night, just once, one night.
But I think next season you're gonna see one of those security droids, whatever K2SO is. And when he walks in, he's going to have Alan Tudyk's voice. Yeah. And we're all going to go, oh, there's K2SO.
Yeah, because...
And then...
But he won't have a personality in programming.
What happens is when Andor reprograms him, that's when he gets the quirkiness. You know what I mean?
Because
it's going to be Alan Tudyk playing him very rigid and very imperial. And then when he tweaks him for reprogramming, that's when he gets to be quirky. Because they even said that in Rogue One, like it's a byproduct of the programming, of the reprogramming, as to why he acts this way.
Maybe like it's for sure a plausible thing. It just seems like different kind of characters. Like
I don't think he's got anything to do with B2 EMO. And
but it's interesting to think that maybe Mark made a point, like, will he be with Andor, like at the end of season 2 or even in the middle of season 2 kind of thing, right? I just need a little buff and polish, a little spit and shine.
I don't know. I think it was a whole different
some
piece.
Carbon scoring,
because they showed a silver one in Star Wars right at the beginning of the movie. So I think he just had a silver from the knee down replacement part until Leia and the Rebels put a real gold one on.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in the sequels, he had a red arm until later on when they put a real gold one on. They found a replacement that was gold and put it on.
But he wore that as a badge of honor, though, based on the comics, as a to honor the sacrifice.
For a little while,
to honor the sacrifice of the droid.
I think I actually bought that stupid comic. Freaking
Marvel Unlimited,
Lucasfilm. How dare you?
That's how.
But then we get the lovely, but yet always beaten, Bix. She's still hearing that doctor's voice, like, oh I'm evil, creepy guy. So she's not hearing the screams, which you think maybe she'd hear these children's cries or whatnot, but no, she's hearing.
They didn't even let us hear those things.
She's hearing Dr. Creepmeister's voice over and over again. So she's in a little bit of a hellhole now, and they drag her to another interrogation.
Yeah, are they going to even let her out? Like, is she going to get out? Like, how's she going to get free? The camera, I love the camera.
Yeah, I had to get that. That's so OG. I can see Stormtrooper or
on the Death Star.
Chewbacca shooting that right now.
Yeah.
The detention. Yeah.
And first, as soon as I saw this, I thought this is what Eric would look like if he was bald and overweight.
Well, I was
like, whoa, that looks like an overweight, balder Eric.
I'm on my way to both. I'm already taking hair loss prevention stuff.
I was kidding. So we finally get to see Anto Krieger, as he's called. So I don't see like a rebel symbol on his chest, but I mean maybe it's you know what I mean? Like he's very baby face looking, but he's obviously a lot larger and balder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but they're trying.
Justice for Bix, right?
They're trying to see if Krieger is accessing the person that she introduced Cassian to.
We didn't hear her answer, though, did she?
No.
The answer.
But that's going that's going to be really important. Either the Imperials go into that spell house trap thinking they just nabbed Axis, and they're all like proud of themselves, and they didn't really do it, and doing stuff behind the scenes, and or like Bix told them no, and they're still going to kill the guy. But either way, it doesn't spell like good news for Bix, right?
I think that Bix, because she broke down and kind of was crying a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, I think that she's going to have to say yes, only because
I think you can tell by her eyes that she knew who this guy was.
The Imperials are going to, whether she knows this guy or not, I think she's going to say yes and lie because they're expecting her to say yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that guy was like, if I don't like your answer or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Dr. Gorse is coming back, yeah.
So it's kind of like, you know, and I think she purposefully made herself appear a little bit more emotional than what she really was, because it could sell the answer when she says yes. It would sell it like she's being affected by giving this guy up. You know what I mean?
But you can be tortured into giving a false confession, right? So like she's been tortured enough and really messed up that she might say anything for whatever reason. And I think you're right, John. Maybe the Imperials are confident that they're trying to lead the witness and say like, this is the guy, right?
Yeah, well, well, of course, because that fucking dickhead is in the back there.
Yeah, the guy on the left.
Get out of there.
The guy on the left in the gray uniform is the guy who has been spying on Marva in the bar with Cinta.
So that's the same guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just in his gray, in his dress-up clothes. But yeah, no, the guy in the back.
Yeah,
there,
like
that's the guy who wants to hang everybody. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, that guy. And then
but I think she totally knows who this guy is,
you know?
and she will sacrifice him. Like
that's what I mean. I'm thinking,
and just like Lutheran is expecting to happen, right? So as long as Saw doesn't tattletale on him, it all should go according to plan. So then,
she's involved in a cult. So
is her name Clea? No, Lita. So Leah is part of the, the housewives.
But it also is funny because like apparently Val is saying that this cult that she's involved in like does betroth each other and make arranged marriages and blah blah blah. And Val's like, you can't let your daughter do that crap, you know. That's why
it's already happening, kind of thing. She kind of reveals, right?
So now, why is it that, like, if the daughter wants an arranged marriage, then
I think
Mon Mothma might as well make an arranged marriage with that banker guy.
Well, it seems like to me, Mon and Vel are kind of disgusted about those old traditions. Right?
Oh yeah,
very much so. But
this is
forced into it now.
But I don't think she's being like they mentioned Lita's like willingly going into this and whatnot. Yeah. But I think that's more out of like teenage rebellion, saying like,
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. Like I don't care.
She looks at her mom. She's like, "Oh, auntie. Oh, hi, mom." Like,
yeah.
And I'm like, really? Like, fucking go to your room. Go to your room now.
I don't care. Like if I'm going to groom myself to be a subservient wife and whatnot, and get betrothed to whoever. I just want to go against whatever you're thinking, right?
Hey, Linda.
Hey, Linda.
Hey.
Yeah, so it's a good scene here. Like, not a bunch of great one-liners that I wrote down and want to remember, but she basically, without tears coming out of her eyes, Mothma's, really opening her heart here to, her cousin, right? And Val's like, oh shit, like really, like you're out this kind of money, and
I thought Val was
daughter, and
Val was this close to telling. Val was this close to telling Mothma that she was in the heist.
Oh, in the heist.
And because I have a feeling because she asked, she's like, well, how much do you owe? And it's like 400,000. So I'm wondering if her, like, did Andor get paid 200,000, but is Val's cut like 600 or 700?
I never even thought about what.
You know what I mean?
Well, she wasn't. She didn't get a cut, right? Remember, Cassian was brought in as a mercenary.
Yeah, no one got a cut. Just Andor.
Yeah, but maybe Val knows that 80 million, the 80 million credits went somewhere.
Well, yeah, no.
So maybe Val knows where it went.
Oh, she knows.
She's gonna get the 400,000. She's gonna get the 400,000 and give it to Mon. But I just think that she didn't. She was this close to telling Mon. She was this close to telling Mon now, but I think she held off. And she's going to see if she can get the money. And if she can get the money, she's going to come back and then have to explain, okay, here's the money and this is how I got it, you know?
Yeah.
And bring Mon Mothma more into the inner circle, but also get her out of the trouble she's in at the same time. You know what I mean?
Because if Mon Mothma gets caught with the financial problems, and
it could roll down to all of them.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That could be the domino that kicks everything else off. Yeah.
Why do you think she'd keep that information still from her cousin Mon Mothma at this point, even when she knows she's
one less thing for her to worry about?
And it's a buffer. It's like a
family not important to her?
Well, you don't need to know yet. You know what I mean?
But her lesbian lover needs to know, is her cousin is less important than her lover.
But she was
there with her. So.
No, but she's not hiding things from her lover or her girlfriend or whatever, just her partner, her life partner. But she is hiding stuff from like her family, from her like same planet and bloodline, and
but that all depends on what you're, you don't want.
And they're on the same team, so like it makes no sense that she would hide anything from Mon Mothma, even at this point.
Well, you do, because if you get captured, you can't be tortured for
plausible deniability.
Plausible deniability. You know,
so no one will ever know anybody.
But remember, they said Cinta doesn't know about Clea or Luthen. It was Vel was the only connection to Luthen.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Vel hasn't told Cinta about everything.
Yeah.
But so like it was a good scene. Again, G-Force made the point. The dialogue between these two, good actresses was not as dynamic as what we saw from some of the guys last week. In my opinion, and G agrees. But it was still a good scene. I think the best acting in this scene was Saw Gerrera, of course. I think he killed it this episode.
Yeah.
So we got bedhead mom here. Serial, you got a phone call. So I'm guessing it's like 2 a.m, and there's our buddy.
Yeah,
there's our buddy, and he's calling from some welding warehouse. Picked just a wrong time to call when. They're smelting. I think he said it's on the background.
It's also some cover for him during the call, I think.
Yeah, I guess. There's a little bit of comic in it because they couldn't hear him and he said something else. He's like, Andor. But, yes, we'll call him Sarge. I think we're going to see this guy again next week, too. Like, I guess he'll meet up with Serial and they'll do their own undercover search for Andor to try and win Deidre's heart. But yeah, I thought this was cool. I like the retro TV too. Like these little things, man. Like
they're all going to end up on the same planet. I think there needs to be
just a little bit more. Let's give me 15% more of this cool shit like this. And yeah, instead of just having a boner for a little bit, I want it for like the full hour.
Yeah, Gilster, I saw it.
Yeah, they're letting us see that stuff openly now. Like whether it's the headdresses or the.
It made me wonder, like, how much they're selling that shield for, because, like,
it's been there for
weeks. The Gungans are still there. You know what I mean? They still exist. Yeah. So, like, if they're getting like 100,000 credits for that, I'd be like, shit, I'm going over to the Gungan planet and picking up like 4 or 5 shields and bringing them back so that Luthen can sell them for me. Like,
I think this is a Sunripe container over here. I'm not sure. It looks like something I can buy at Walmart right now.
Those are at Denny's on the table.
Yeah, so we got the wall phone here. We see the pay phone later. But yeah, with a little bit of lost communication, but he finds out Andor's mom passes away, and they're thinking maybe Andor will show up.
Yeah, they're all going to end up on that planet together, on Ferrix or whatever it's called.
Yep.
So I'm assuming that Sarge guy is still there. He just has a different job now.
Yeah, he's
somewhere in the system,
sort of where those other guys work.
Yeah, because he heard it from another guy he was working with or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the sergeant was saying he heard he heard through his buddy who still got an in with the Imperials that there was a lot of back and forth communication between Ferrix and Coruscant about the funeral. So there's definitely some big things being planned.
So we're back in Miami at
those wooden chairs. I can go out to the beach out here, and those wooden chairs are out there on Miami Beach. I've seen.
Okay, we'll wait, John. Go right now and grab, because this is the one thing about this episode that I'm like, really? You literally went to Costco and you bought some plastic lawn chairs, some white plastic lawn chairs, painted them blue and yellow, and then these wire mesh ones at the front here. Those are the ones that really piss me off. Those are not
the blue ones.
Star Wars lawn chairs.
The blue ones on the beach, they're made out of wood. They look just like that. They're on Miami Beach. They're exactly like that.
Plastic.
And they're made out of wood. And that you see that part sticking out the back of the chair? You can actually lift that up and it'll alter the back. You can
recline it.
You can slip it into a different
I'm pretty sure there's one in my patio right now. That's broken because they're $11.
Here on Miami Beach, they're made out of wood, but it's that same design, and they're painted blue. They're painted blue just like that on the beach here in Miami.
That's crazy.
They're just chairs.
It's these wicker ones at the front row that really boggle my mind. I'm like, you forgot to erase, the director chair and where you're eating lunch earlier. Like, come on, man. And I thought the birds were just blue freaking pelicans. Like, come on, do better.
I like the birds.
Do better.
No.
But yeah, Blackpool's finest. Do better, Andor. And then we get this tentacle face guy in Andor's old hotel room where he was banging that Spice Girl a couple episodes ago. And he had to go get his secret stash. Oh, it's kind of a dark picture, but yeah, the little secret stash he's got hidden above the shower there with his credits. A couple of blasters.
2 blasters in the
Nemec's manifesto.
And the manifesto, that's right, which we learn is like a digital device, not just like paper, which I thought it was paper because I swear I saw him writing some stuff down.
I thought it was a book too, but I don't know, maybe it's...
It looked like a little moleskin notepad. But, but you heard Nemec's voice.
It might have both
when he opened it.
You never know.
Yeah, it could be both.
But
I'd be curious to zoom in and try and translate that Arabesh. I didn't bother trying to do that, but
it might have been what he was reading out loud. Like he kind of said a couple of words, right? But it's cool. It looks Star Wars-y. The looks of the blasters. Andor's got a cool, blaster that we haven't seen a lot in Star Wars, and then the traditional, I guess, Imperial one underneath.
Yeah, the black one's sort of like a TIE pilot, like what those guys were using.
Yeah, and those canopies too. But I can understand canopies. That's a universal thing that can be in space. But the plain Jane lawn chairs, man, come on. Hello, Mr. B.
Hey, yeah, they're like security guard blasters. You're right.
So we could shout out to Melshi here. We hear his voice.
Yeah,
again.
He gives it to Melshi.
Rest in peace to Melshi. And then we got Tubes.
Yeah, I like how Tubes
as he's
is
called
here.
by Lutheran. Yeah. I think we were calling them 2 tubes, but I think there's 2 of them.
There's 2
There's
2 of them that are
and
supposedly twins, right? Yeah.
So there is 2 tubes, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. He's got his cool alien voice. We get to hear him a little bit, and then search him, and then what's this? weird lightsaber looking stick thing, sticky stick. So this is the second time we've seen Lutheran with a sticky stick. I'm telling you, man, it's a lightsaber. It's not. There's no chance that it's not a lightsaber.
I thought it was just like a truncheon type of like.
Well, it extends.
The first one he had was like an extending baton.
Yeah, it extends.
That he didn't use as a cane. He just used it as a stick. Like he just walked with a stick in his hand, like Harry Potter, like the dude at Harry Potter Land. Hello, waving his stick. Now this is more obviously a lightsaber handle. And he's like, hey, what are you gonna do? Give it back to me or something like that. You gonna put it down or put it back? So he's real smart ass about it, and all they had to do is push the button, see what it does, right? Like Luke Skywalker,
right in the face.
Well, yeah, come on, man. Like, what's this guy got? What's this guy have or know that they're hiding from us?
Didn't he collapse it right before he picked it up? It was an extended stick. It was an extended stick, and then it collapses right before the black guy takes it.
It's a lightsaber. It's a magic space sword in Star Wars land. You know it, man. He's got those holocrons behind him. He's got the stupid Sith armor in his office. Like,
you guys saw that same. You guys saw that same interview I saw from the Hollywood Reporter last week. Tony Gilroy had no idea about all of those Easter eggs that they put in Luthen's shop. He just thought it was like fancy set dressing.
Yeah, but the 380 people on set decorating that set and making those props and being told by him to make those props, they know what they know. Like, they're all Star Wars fans. Like, if not all of them, 97% of the people working on the sets and the props and the costumes and the hair and the makeup and the editing and the guy with the camera, the guy who plugs in the camera, like the grips, and they all know, right? Like, this
I'm sure
a lightsaber, or this is a Sith holocron. So
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. I'm not sure
those interviews too. I believe that's part of his job is to lead us in a new direction.
He just does. I guess he just doesn't come off as the same kind of Star Wars nerd.
True. He's a very well spoken guy.
I think I'll tell you, I've been rewatching Rebels, and season 2 and 3 really tie into Andor. So I think Tony Gilroy watched at least seasons 2 and 3 of Rebels before or during writing the show, because some of the lines that Mon Mothma says in Rebels, I wish I started taking notes and writing stuff down, but it fits in 100% with what's going on in this show. Mm-hmm. And then even some of the stuff between Saw Gerrera, the little bit that we saw before this, fits in with what Saw Gerrera says in Rebels. So I was I've been blown away by how much Rebels, the TV show, now
ties in.
Well, it's got more of an impact. Watching it a second time after seeing Andor, that part in season 2 and 3 where you see them interacting more with the rebellion, really it makes Rebels that much better. You know what I mean?
It also makes this better. They enrich the experience of watch. Yeah. And just to be clear, what I was trying to say earlier was more that I don't think Tony Gilroy is intending to introduce all these Easter eggs. That people dressing the sets are doing that, but Tony Gilroy's okay, that just looks like some cool shit in the background, whatever, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, I just
I don't know if that's a Jedi Temple Guard master
Kathleen
or whatever.
Kennedy and Jon Favreau and Filoni what's probably still on this set every day. They could possibly be if they weren't working themselves or getting dailies. So everyone in above them is gonna know. You're wait a minute, you can't have a R2D2 in this, everyone knows about what's going on, right? So
I think Pablo Hidalgo is the main guy helping out with Andor.
I hope not, man. He doesn't like the fans.
That's not true.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk.
I've met Pablo Hidalgo. I've met him. He's great.
He made fun of fans for crying watching Star Wars on YouTube, and you, as an employee to Lucasfilm or Disney, you don't bash your fans.
That guy's.
I think that's overly exaggerated.
He's Canadian, so give him a little bit of a break. But anyway, yeah.
Bob was the man.
I met him at one of the celebrations, and he was the biggest friend to the fans, and he was
Saw Gerrera
signing everything, autographing, doing great. It was nice.
Is learning that, oh wait, Lutheran, you're gonna sacrifice these 30 dudes plus Krieger. That was times it was 30 people plus Krieger.
They kept saying 31. It plus Krieger,
plus Krieger, and the good dialogue, like really.
Well, he makes them see the point.
The one big line at the end of their whole dialogue, but I mean,
let's call it
Lutheran was pretty open with him. Like at one point, Saw was like, the only way you're leaving here is dead, right? Because he had pulled a gun on him to let him keep speaking and stuff. But yeah, man, like freaking, this is a very important scene for the rebellion. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Because
it makes Saw see his point and understand the reasoning behind it. You know what I mean? Because he gets Saw paranoid and start looking around and questioning everything, and then he goes, "The Empire is going to do exactly what you do."
That's exactly what he said. Yeah.
If we call this attack off.
Yep.
So by letting this go forward, it makes them think that their security net is perfect, and they've got, you know what I mean? These rebels can't get through their midst, so they're going to be sitting up on a high horse, and then it makes them easier to move around.
It makes more soft too, right? Like so, yeah. I mean, it's a very good point. Saw's questioning like everything, right? Like, yo, you're ISB, you're this, you're that. You have spies everywhere. You got connections. I think he called them, right? Contacts everywhere.
Yeah.
You have one here. Who is it? Who's your contact here? And he's like, it's Tubes over there. So and he's like, no, it's not me. Boss, don't say it. But Luthen pulls the gun out on Saw. And I was like, damn. Like, is this it? Like, I know we're not, Saw's not going to die, but I mean, when Saw said that, the only way you're leaving here is dead. I'm like, oh shit, man. Like, could this be the last time we see this character? And of course it's not, I don't think, because we see him again, but I mean,
no, yeah, it was all just to get Saw thinking from another perspective, and then once Saw understood what was going on, it was like they were copacetic. They understood, and then he's like, let's call it what it really is, war,
Yeah, G-Force, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and it worked. Because Saw, what was weird about the very beginning of this scene when Luthen showed up is Saw was like, yeah, let's go. I'm ready to do it. Boom. He's like charging his iPhone, he's getting all the shit ready, and he's like,
he was almost desperate because he needed the supplies and the weapons that Luthen promised. So you have to figure that Luthen left Saw by still giving him a whole bunch of supplies and paying him off to stay quiet.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Why not, right? Especially if he's has them for the purpose of helping the rebellion and whatnot, right?
Well, and does Lutheran have access to the 80 million credits they stole? Like, where'd this money go?
Someone's got it.
I still.
It's all stored inside B2 Emo.
Yeah.
But very good scene with Saw. He's really excited at the beginning of the scene, and it continues on. And Lutheran kind of had to, take a chill pill, man. Like, here's what's going on. Like by pulling a blaster, of course. There was also a scene in one of the trailers where all of Saw's men are pointing a gun at somebody, and it wasn't in this episode. So either that's a deleted scene, which things like that happen. So maybe as soon as Luthen pulled his gun out, all those guys as well put a gun at him, and they just deleted it from this episode. Or that scene is next week, and maybe that Anto Krieger guy lives because whatever Saw tells him, or it's 30 guys plus one, right? So maybe they do save them for that purpose of humanity, because that was the first thing Saw said for humanity. And maybe those guys are pointing guns at that Anton Krieger guy next week. So interesting. Do you think it's a deleted scene, like this off-camera thing that got cut from the actual 36-minute episode that they could have had it on?
It's possible,
or do you think that's next week for another person?
It could be a deleted scene, but it sounded like they said that there were only maybe 2 deleted scenes that, like, from all of the footage that they shot, that they were super pragmatic about what they chose to shoot, and there really wasn't much waste. So there's going to be some deleted scenes. But
he's figured it out. Jimmy Switz has all the money.
Yeah, could it be? Maybe it's Melchi's way in to tell everybody about the prison.
Yeah, I'm curious who he gets.
Because, like, I still think, like, Melchi's thinking about going to somebody who's big enough to get the word out across the galaxy. And to me, that's like either the Senate itself, and that's how Melchi ends up knowing, like, Luthen and Mon Mothma, and then ends up in the rebellion, and then Andor comes into the rebellion a different direction, and they meet back up. Melchi and Andor meet back up in that way. Or it's like, or maybe Melchi goes, well, maybe Saw Gerrera could get the word out, so he kind of works his way in.
It would be. I don't think it would be through, like, having some announcement on the Imperial Senate, because he'd be, like, shot on sight, right, as an escaped prisoner.
Part of me thinks he'll show up.
Yeah, so going an underground way in would make more sense. So maybe like, Saw's the underground way in.
Yeah, I think I'd be surprised at this point if we see Melchi this season. He'll probably reappear next season, and they'll converge as they're both members of the rebellion. But
I thought for a minute that he might, even after the show ended, that I'm like, and I'm looking at my notes, I'm like, I wonder if he shows up on Ferrix, knowing what, because I think he knows
needs help or something,
and there's going there, and and maybe because of the propaganda, something hits the news wire, riot on, maybe he hears shit about that planet. You never know, like, but yeah, I think realistically that character will get reintroduced to next season, along with an introduction to Galen Erso, because I don't think we're going to get him squeezed in this year. I'm still hoping we get someone saying the word Vader, or maybe we get a glimpse.
I'd be surprised if we get any Krennic or
I don't know if we would get Galen Erso.
Krennic I can see, but I mean, because they're concentrating so much on other Imperials that seem to be rising, like including Cyril, who's not really an Imperial guy yet, but I mean, it's kind of focusing more on Deidre and not even the other guy anymore. The other guy is kind of garbage duty or something, right? We don't even see that guy anymore.
All the Death Star stuff will be in the background.
I just don't think we'll see anyone related to the Death Star or any of that stuff.
It'll just be like
it's a separate story. You might see some of the other rebels though, like I could see
General Draven,
like Poe show up, Draven, General Draven.
And Gilcher's right. At some point between now and Rogue One, Saw has to shave his head and grow it back in a bigger sideways afro.
Yeah.
So that's important shit, man. Like we need to know
and lose some.
We need to know. And who cuts his hair? Is it 2 tubes? Is one of those tubes a sucker and the other's a cutter? Like, how you doing, Gilser? Tarkin will be cool to see, man.
Freedy shows up. He's got his scissor hands. Freedy.
Yeah. The 2 new aliens will save the day.
Stanley and Ragnarok.
One of my favorite things about the Rogue One, it was cool to see Tarkin. It was cool to see Leia, like the de-aging and what they did with those characters. It was cool to see Vader go badass, that kind of thing. But what I really, really liked about it is I'm watching it, and all of a sudden, Red Leader standing by. Yo, like, what the fuck? Like, those are the actual clips and the actual actors from freaking 40 years ago. Like that, I stood up in my chair, like in the theater. Like, even on the third time, I'm like, whoa! I did surprised.
I actually jumped up and stood up and cheered.
That was one of the coolest moments in all of Star Wars for me, just because he put it in his heart or whatever the reason was, they did it. It was freaking phenomenal. And it worked so good. And they had like another line of dialogue, and we see the Red 5 get blown up real good. But I in a way, I hope we see a little bit of that in this show. We see it already just with the look, with the haircuts and the sideburns and the cool mustaches and the stupid 70s lawn chairs, which come on, man. But yeah, that was my coolest. One of my favorite part in Rogue One was that little callback to the original actors and the original theme.
It'd be really cool if we do see some more of rebel pilots. It would have to sync. It would have to sync up with how Wedge gets recruited into the rebellion, because you see that in Rebels, but it'd be funny if you see Wedge and fake Wedge in live action together.
Oh, both actors. Yeah. What I think should happen is Melshi, that's his name.
Yeah.
He should go to Tatooine. Go to the Cantina bar, look for a Wookiee and his co-pilot. There you go.
No more Tatooine.
Come on, we could use Tatooine. Hammerhead.
Nah.
Is he stealing his mom's money?
Serial's secret box.
He's stealing his mom's credit.
Yeah, that's his mom's safe. Yeah,
God, it's Serial's box.
Well, why would he have waited for her to leave?
Yeah,
because
no, he's going.
He's dressed for work.
He stole like necklaces.
He stole money from his mom. That's what he
really
definitely.
I think
yes,
he definitely.
No,
broke
there's
into
jewelry
his
and other
safe.
things in there. That's his mom's safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's in her bedroom. She's got her hair pick there on top. That's in her bedroom.
No, that's his
mom's
that's
bedroom.
his Vaseline and his Kleenex.
And that thing laying there is her mom's hair pick.
Anal beads. No, I don't know. I thought it was Cereal's box, so I could say Cereal's box, but okay. But yeah, I guess he steals some bus fare from her or something, right?
Yeah, he steals her
going to
credit.
Ferrex. He's
We're going Ferrex. Going back to Ferrex, folks.
Yeah.
But so it's not an official Imperial business either. So he's doing this on his own.
We're going down to Ferrex and we're gonna have a time.
So that John, you were talking about this earlier.
Good.
The disguised messages between Clay and Luther, and I thought it was good, man. Like it took me a minute, but I'm like,
because they were talking about Saw first, and then you could tell that they transitioned to talk about Cassian.
Yes, and Cassian being that one prop that they couldn't lose. So we can't not get that artifact. That we'll have to close our shop.
There's another collector we can't lose them to.
So who do you think? Because he was talking about somebody when he said that. So does he know there's someone else?
The Empire.
Andor?
Yeah, the Empire. Yeah.
He knows for a fact, like there's like wanted posters and things like because they didn't show us that he knows that. But
the Empire was after. Well, he knows that the Empire was after him to begin with, because he was with Cassian on Ferrex when the Preox Morlana, like Cyril and Sergeant Mosk were chasing him.
Okay. Cool scene between them. Like I think she was calling him at the very beginning of the scene. You can see her face on a little 70s TV monitor while Luther's hanging up his wig or whatever, his raincoat in his stackable closet that Eric mentioned, which is pretty cool. So just because of that, it has to be HasLab for the wig rack. But cool scene, nonetheless. And then comes the coolest scene. So for this, I need to get a new drink because this is badass.
They this cruiser gives Luthen the raspberry, and jams his communications with Clea.
Yep.
I always like to use that reference.
A giant jar of jam just crashed into the.
There's only one person who would dare give me the raspberry.
Yeah.
So for me, this scene here is the most Star Warsy scene in Andor's first 11 episodes so far. Like that's my opinion. Mm-hmm. So not my favorite scene of the series so far, but the most Star Warsy. Like, so boom, we get the Colin Cantwell class Star Destroyer in live action Star Wars, and I couldn't be happier, man. Like I had goosebumps when I saw this.
Yeah,
I knew it was coming.
He passed earlier this year, right?
He did pass earlier this year, and I have had communications with him and his wife over the years, and such a fine gentleman, and I'll always be a passionate admirer of his artwork and what he's done for us, the Star Wars fans. Because if it wasn't for his artwork, we don't know what people like Ralph McQuarrie would have came up with, or later on nowadays we got Kevin Chen and stuff. All these new artists involved. These are all inspired by the late Colin Cantwell as much as I am. So yeah, hats off to you, Colin, for your ship finally making it, your original design, and it was pretty cool, man. Not only that, but the interior was freaking Star Wars, man. Like, welcome to Star Wars. If you have never been here before, this is what it looks like. So fuck yeah, man. This is awesome, man. Could have been a Vader or a Thrawn or a Tarkin up front, but of course it was a good acting dickhead is what it was.
He was so emotionless too. Like throughout this sequence, he had he could give two fucks less.
It's like, you haven't sent the TIE fighters yet? Come on. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, he's hard and no expression. Just getting harder, like getting almost meaner.
Now, do you think those like at first I was wondering, because he was like, were those projectiles that he actually shot out the back of the ship, or are they actually a tractor beam countermeasure? Because he actually asked the droid, he said, what level is the tractor beam at? And the droid went, it's only level 2. And then he was like, all right, and they let the thing keep charging up, and then they went, it's at tractor beam level 5, and he said, and then it filled its way up in the charging thing, and he released the countermeasure.
Yeah, so that's what he called it, right? Release the countermeasure number 2. Like,
does the power of the tractor beam affect the countermeasure? Is what I was trying to get at. So I said, is the reason they traveled so fast towards the tractor beam generator because the tractor beam was pulling them at level 5?
Oh,
I think it was a combination of that, and also to calculate how much to fire the engines or thrusters in whatever direction. But those countermeasures, like those projectiles, would definitely look like metal projectiles.
They were metal.
They looked like metal spikes or
metal spikes or something.
They were almost like Mando's whistling birds.
Yeah, and bigger. At the same time, they did seem like there was actually a small explosions like shooting them out the back of the ship. So they weren't just being pulled by
a radar dish, right? So it's not like because of the oddball kind of design that we're not used to seeing. It's like basically, here's a big target.
Yeah.
Aim at me. Like, there's, it's obviously not more protected than the rest of the ship. Space shields or force fields, whatever they have in, the real world. This is Star Wars and everything can get blown up, right? But yeah, badass. No, it's not the Dreadnought. This is the Colin Cantwell class destroyer, they call it.
But Arrestor class cruiser.
Yeah, all the Star Destroyers seem to have a bridge that's a similar design to that. It's just different scales. Because
they get bigger.
Remember,
and bigger.
Darth Vader was standing on a very similar bridge on his Executor class one, but it was just like 10 times bigger than that. You know what I mean? But it had the same design elements.
I'm just so happy to see it because I know this. Like, I've known this image and Cantwell's, 5 or 6 of his pictures my whole life. Like, I've always known of them. Much like McQuarrie's concept, I've always known of them. Like, and I'm 50 years old now. Like, so it means a lot to me to see this come to fruition, if that's the right way of putting it. It's pretty cool, man. my happiest moment. And then all the freaking the nerdy bits start going off the radar for me in this whole little scene here. Of course, his ship is kind of a droid operated ship as well too. So maybe this could be more the K2SO personality. Like just throwing that out there, not an official left coast theory, but this droid is badass. I love it. I want to know all the Tupperware parts they used to make that prop. If there was Tupperware involved or bottles, whatever. What brand of milk bottle do I have to buy or 2 liter?
You get 3 milk caps. Yeah, they get 3 2-liter caps.
Welcome, Shadow.
Hey, but I like that he actually has a droid built into his ship. It just shows how many modifications he did because what did they call it? They thought it was a standard freighter that was hauler thing,
Corellian hauler or something, or
Alderaan.
Well, but because he gave him a code, because he gave him like an ID code for
an Alderaan ID
from like a registration number from Alderaan. Yeah.
So here he's charging up his like side laser countermeasure, whatever. I don't know what they called that officially. I don't think they did. He just did that in his own. The droid.
He just said it was a countermeasure for the tractor beam. Yeah.
Yeah. So all these fancy words, and then that's the camera for the side laser
computer.
Yeah, the side laser thing.
Well, that wasn't just that. I think it was also used as the targeting computer for the blaster cannons.
Without order. Yeah, it might be the same camera.
Because it looks like
order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how cool is that, man? How Star Warsy is that? Does it get more Star Warsy than that?
That's super smart too.
Or that. Or that.
Yeah.
Or that. Like
go ahead.
Even the blaster that he had that popped out the top of his ship was like a hidden cannon. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
it just kind of came out, and
it's like so he's got.
Car. We and saw
controlled by the droid, right?
Yeah,
we saw 3. We basically saw 3 hidden features of this vehicle in one shot, and
and you see how
to show you how like modified he's made this thing.
Turned down like Jedi, Starfighter, then TIE Fighter kind of wings. So that was kind of interesting too. So maybe this was a Sithy ship, right? Wonder what Sith could have this ship.
Luthen's ship is like basically the Star Wars equivalent of a Bond car.
Oh yeah. He's modified it beyond.
It's definitely the most badass ship we've had in a long time since the last one got blown up.
But I was really impressed with the targeting computer for the blaster cannons that popped up because the targeting computer was locking on to the ship and he was shooting before the thing had even like physically aimed. So like before, like if you're in the Millennium Falcon in one of the turrets, right? You have to physically move and whatnot, and the targeting computer is just locked into wherever you're pointing. This was actively searching and doing the work for Luthen, so you don't have to be an ace pilot or whatever. It was all super automated and whatnot. Yeah, so that was really cool.
And that one,
like armor,
the one shot was like one shot, one kill with that TIE fighter. The way it locked on.
Yep.
It kind of locked on and then went like.
It locked on before it physically moved.
Yeah, and then moved the thing right to it and shot and blew it up.
Yeah,
that was
really cool.
So it's not a lot of where
in Gilster, he was very calm throughout this. There was no
because he has the best tech. Because he's got the best tech.
I guess, or he's a really good pilot because he's
or
a Jedi.
It's
tech. I don't think that is much.
He's got and that droid. I mean, the droid could be a little bit in there controlling the
AI for the targeting.
So like right now I'm at my desk. I got a desk here in my dining room, and then there's a wall there that I'm looking at my iMac. I want this wall here to look like that, like a wall of monitors and buttons and little Tupperware containers painted black. Like that's what I want, man. Like that's
Batcave.
So Star Warsy, man. I love this. And the light speed streaks, of course. TIE fighters, pilots, like, come on, man. We didn't get to see his targeting computer, but
I like to have the gray stripe on the.
Yeah, it's definitely
in the two.
You can see the highlights.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
So like, there's 2
we haven't seen those markings.
there's two different groups of TIE fighter pilots because we've seen that before somewhere. I remember we saw it.
We saw red accents in the sequels, but in the original Star Wars, that was actually like much like how Darth Vader's helmet was black and then like matte black and like really dark gray. Like they painted it differently.
Or is it just that they made?
But here it was more of a darker gray originally, and we've seen, I think, in comics and cartoons, white and light gray and red. So yeah, like
red was in the game Battle. Was it Battlefront?
Battlefront, okay.
When they blew up the Death Star above Endor.
You're thinking Inferno Squad?
Yeah, Inferno Squad had the red on it, but this might have been an action figure that we had, and that's where I'm thinking of it before. Because I actually think I have him right over there.
Well, the Sky Striker Academy, didn't they have yellow markings in Rebels where Wedge came from?
Was it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, the Rebels got Red 5 and Green Leader, and it's just different call signs and not allegiance, but groups. Like the 501st all had like the blue stripes and stuff, right? And whereas the Sith troopers had all the red stripes, and Mace Windu had all the purple stripe clones. So, I'm sure the colors mean something, but so we get Andor calling back to another version of the payphone here, calling this guy, and Cassian. Casa tells him 3 times, no names. He says, no names, Sam. And then he says the guy's name right after he says no names. So clearly, I think this conversation will get intercepted by whoever's listening. I don't think it's going to be a secret anymore. The radar.
Yeah.
It was just too much.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
his name was said, I think, 6 times in this conversation. So I'm pretty sure that whoever's listening knows now.
Once he found out his mom was dead, Cassian's coming here anyways. So it doesn't matter if they're listening or not, because he's on his way now.
Yeah, I guess good point. But we also learned they still have payphones in Space Miami too. So this is the moment Andor does find out, his mama passed, Marva's passed away, off screen, right before the episode started, I guess. So yeah, it was sad we didn't get to know her too much, but we know that she did kidnap Andor as a child, so it's got that going for her. But what do you think of these payphones?
They're neat, yeah.
And are they down at the beach there, John? Are these right?
No, there's no payphones. There's no payphones anywhere anymore.
No, that's what I mean. Like, even in the real world, go try to find a payphone.
No, they're gone.
To me, that means they're not going to have them in the future, in a galaxy far away.
This is a long time ago.
I guess
no one has cell phones. No one in the Star Wars universe has cell phones.
These are but they did in Star Trek. Go figure.
Yeah. This is what I was getting at, though, is that, like, Melshi and him split up here, and they say that one of them has to make it somewhere. I mean, they leave it vague. I don't know what his plan was, but Melshi's like, one of us has to get the word out. So if we split up, that's 2 chances that we're going to get to somewhere where we can get the word out.
Yeah, I gathered that.
But they were
saying that in a way.
So, but what throws me for a loop here is that this show keeps doing this to me. Like, I thought when Andor decided to do the heist for Luthen, that after the heist, Andor would go with Luthen and be introduced to Mon Mothma and introduced to this helping to start the rebellion. So I thought, and then all of a sudden Andor goes a separate way and Luthen wants Andor dead. And I'm going, wait a minute. So now how does Andor get into the rebellion? Like, that was the perfect way to get Andor into the rebellion.
It's too quick, though.
Throw it away. And then I'm like, and now it's like, okay, so here we go. I'm like, here we go. So Melshi and Andor are going to go on this adventure together, and then they're going to somehow get involved and get back to the rebellion together, because in Rogue One, we see Melshi and Andor together, you know what I mean, in Rogue One in the movie. So I was like, they're going to go there together to get in. And now Melshi and Andor go their separate ways. So I'm like, damn it, now they got to write them to come back together again. You know what I mean?
You know, they've got their own stories, and they've clearly got this thought out. And
yeah.
You know, they're gonna bring it all together. I thought it was interesting though, like at the beginning of this conversation, Melshi is clearly like neither of them know how many people survived from the prison.
Yeah, he's like, are we the only ones that survived? He says, right? And I'm like, oh,
yeah, like we don't know, and we have to split up to increase the chances of raising awareness of how prisoners are being mistreated by the Empire.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think I've got a hunch as to what you're trying to illustrate, Rick.
Yeah, like is that a new Imperial disguise dress shirt that he stole from the hotel? Like
it also looks like some of the stuff that they were building in the prison.
Yes, except those were all branches of 7 arms. Like everything was 7 tables, 7 people, 7 rooms. But yeah, the thing they were building, that's all done for a reason. They didn't pick this pattern for no reason whatsoever. They're obviously building the Death Star with those parts, and this shirt is telling it to us. Boom. We don't even need to do the show next year. It's all just been figured out.
Do you have a screenshot of the final shot before credits?
I do have one more screenshot here
with Andor looking down, looking at the
after Melshi leaves.
Yeah.
I got a scene here where they bro it out. Hey, come on, bro. Let's hug it out, bro. Good game. And it looks pretty sad. And then
this evokes the one scene in Rogue One of him and Jin staring off into the off in the coastline horizon as as Scarif gets blown up.
In a way, I think this whole episode mirrored Rogue One, from start to finish, kind of thing. Like, without breaking it down too much, it's when I saw this, I thought just, oh yeah, this is how Rogue One ended. It's exactly how Rogue One ended. That's when I thought, oh shit, this episode's ending. That's when I knew it was ending, because it reminded me so much of when him and Jin died. Then I'm like, oh fuck, they're going to roll credits now, aren't they? And of course, yeah, they rolled the credits. But Peter saying really good episode. I agree. I can't call it a filler. It's another bridge, it seems like, to the episode next week that's going to get me all fired up again, like I was last week.
I don't know. I don't think there's going to be a lot of action in the last one.
There's the raid on Spell. There's the raid on Spell House that they might show. They might refer to that off screen. There could be like a riot at Marva's funeral in Ferrix, right? Death.
I think we know that happens.
So, yeah,
I think we know that the Ferrix people rise up. We kind of know maybe Andor escapes something in a tunnel and maybe that tunnel has a lot more to do with other people in Ferrix surviving. Because there won't be just 3 stormtroopers there. They'll have a full allotment of Imperial troopers and guards, and not just 2 Death Troopers and Deidre. There'll be other forces there for the Ferrix people to fight against. So it'll be a tough fight. Like, they won't have a chance unless
Saw could show up.
Unless something happens, whether it's Mushi, is his name Mushi? Melshi, the guy he just left, unless he maybe shows up with a buddy and another buddy, or
I don't think he would suddenly show up that quick. I think
no, you're right.
I kind of think Eric's right. I think he's
Brasso and the other people of Ferrix. Well, they got a bunch of guns hidden under the boards, and they're ready to fight anyway. Like Marvo was always saying, we're gonna rise up eventually, right? The people here are ready. We got to fight.
It'll be similar to the Ewoks revolting. It'll be the locals, right?
Yeah.
And people like Val and her lady friend, will they help the cause for the people? And of course, Andor, who's with the people.
Oh no, they're going to be trying to kill. They're going to be trying to kill Andor also.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to have people from every side trying to kill him all at once.
So, I have a couple quick questions though for predictions for the final episode of season 1. Do you think we'll get appearances from like people like Bail, Organa, Palpatine, Vader, and do you think like Cassian's going to do anything about trying to find his sister at all, or is that just like a completely lost plot
for
line?
next week?
Yeah, that's all gone.
For this season?
Yeah, for just next week. Yeah, like it's got to end.
Season, I bet you we don't hear anything about. Maybe Andor brings up his sister in a conversation to someone. It's possible, but maybe his sister is already. Maybe his sister is with Anto Krieger. Like maybe she's already involved in one of these rebel kind of gangs or groups on the side. Like I haven't really thought about that much because she's a space whore, and I stand by that because if she worked in a space whore store, then you're a space whore. And so yeah, it's weird. She wouldn't exist in the series for no reason. Like either
I don't think they're going to resolve a lot of things. I think a lot of things are going to be left open for season 2.
I think the one property that you don't leave most of the things unresolved. You answer all of them that you can, and you leave one for the comic book, which is the Red Arm, and you leave one for the next book that comes out.
No, I mean they're going to leave a lot for season 2 and answer it.
Well, no, that too, but I mean. There's a lot.
You're not going to get all the answers in one more episode.
No, not even if it's 2 hours.
But there's going to be some natural
for season 2.
But there's going to be some conclusion.
The final line of dialogue in this season will be the bomb. Like it'll be like, it'll be what everyone's talking about. It'll be what Rick's talking about in the Andor after show next week is what he said.
All right, I didn't hear about that. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's that same Hollywood Reporter interview or Variety magazine. The last line spoken in Andor season 1 will be the best one all season that explains everything or all of it or what's to come.
No, that's Rick's theory, Eric.
What it could be. Like the rebellion has begun. I don't know what
could it be. Theory, right? Eric. It wasn't in the article.
It was what? No, it wasn't a Left Coast theory. It was as a real. It was a real.
You mean it's actually in the article saying that the last line will be the best thing?
It's in one of he does interviews every day, 3 times a day, for like 3 months now, right? So
I don't read any.
Any other random kind of predictions or hopes for next week?
I just think we're going to see the funeral. Andor's going to show up there. They're going to have. Everyone's going to appear. The Cyril will be there.
I would hate to see Deidre kill Cyril.
Deidre will be there, and then, you're going to have Bix getting out of prison somehow, and
so
you're going to have Val. You're going to have Val and her girlfriend there doing something, and then they're all going to be in the midst of this. When it's a riot or whatever happens, and then it's just going to end, and we're all going to be like, "What the hell?"
Okay, here's what I got.
We're gonna have to win.
Rick has got a crazy theory. Rick has got a crazy theory. Rick has got a crazy theory.
Okay, so everything John said, but different. There will be this big uprising on Ferrix where all the people in the yellow and orange jackets will rise for the yellow and orange jackets and the daughters of Ferrix as they were called. I think that the B2 EMO droid, we'll see him again. His story is not over. I think we'll also see him in season 2. I think almost all the characters we will see again in season 2, but I think we're going to lose a couple next week. So I think we're going to lose Vera's lover, as I predicted early in the season. So her name is... What the hell's her name?
Val, you mean Cinta?
Vera?
Cinta. I think Cinta will perish, and she's going to make this sound. Lose Cinta. And I think we're going to lose Cyril's buddy,
Sergeant Mosk.
Yeah, I have a feeling because he's just a fun, go get him kind of guy. He's out to help Cyril get still. I I think he's gonna, not a main character, but just a cool character. I think he's gonna sadly die. Maybe not to save Cyril, but maybe to save Cyril. Dude with the hammers will smash stormtrooper helmets with those hammers. Boom, 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 boom.
That'd be cool.
It's gonna happen, man. It's gotta happen. And there'll be tunnels. I don't know who else gets out in a tunnel, but I just want to hear if they're gonna leave us on a big.
Yeah, that's right. During the whole skirmish, during the riot, Andor's gonna escape through the tunnels.
Yeah, and everyone else will freaking die trying to hunt him down. But yeah, I think a couple of the characters that we got got to like and learn about over the season. The one girl, for sure. And what if Cyril does something to like get Deidre all wet, like capture the Axis? Like literally capture Luthen and put him in handcuffs and like, here, look what I got, Deidre.
I don't think Luthen's going to be there, is he?
Well Luthen,
that's the other thing from the conversation is
Luthen was talking to Clea saying,
Well, Luthen will be on the other end.
People there or something. He's like,
no, that's right. Luthen will be on the other end of the tunnel. That's what'll happen.
There you go.
Because Vel told Clea that Marva died and the funeral's going to happen, and Clea told Luthen that, and you're right.
Luthen, I don't think Luthen will be in the skirmish. I think what'll happen is Luthen will be on the other end of the tunnel.
He'll be the escape plan.
Yeah, when Andor gets out of the tunnel, Luthen will be there, and he's like,
"The Axville
with a gun.
It's time to join the rebellion. Come with me."
Hey,
there you go.
That works for me. Let's cut, roll, print.
Yeah.
Action. Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see because they're gonna freaking cliffhanger us today.
That'll be the end. The last line will be "Welcome to the rebellion." It'll
is that cliffhangery? They're gonna cliffhanger us. You know it.
But remember earlier on in the season, was it 1 or 2 episodes ago? Cyril told Deidre he would recognize Luthen's voice.
Yes, that'll come up. I think.
So Cyril will be on Ferrix. Luthen will be on Ferrix. Yeah. Cyril will be like, "That's him," and identify him. And whatever happens with Krieger, I think Deidre will still know that Axis exists.
Yeah.
What if it's Krieger and his 30 men that come and help?
Or him and Andor and Bix escape because he's going to get Bix out of prison. She's going to go with him.
Yeah, I want the best for Bix, so hopefully Bix gets out alive.
Or Cyril identifies Luthen and tries to out him to the Imperials, and Cassian and Luthen kidnap Cyril and bring him with on the Fondor, right? And then they try and they bring him on as
double agent him,
prisoner, and try to bring
Cyril gonna do good by Deidre.
Yeah, I thought
he's gonna try
because he wants to get in her sheets, right?
He's gonna end up working for Deidre, I think.
I think so, and I think he gets his first little blue bar.
He's gonna join the Imperials, and work for.
I don't know. I don't know why I think it's Luthen he would catch. I don't see Andor being a prisoner again, but I can see maybe Luthen, or even.
No, I mean maybe Luthen is.
They're not as important characters.
It could very well be that Luthen does end up being involved in the skirmish, and then Cyril recognizes him, tells Deidre that's him, and then they both, Andor and Luthen, go through the tunnel to Andor's ship or to Luthen's ship,
or
because
it's a cool ship and we want to see it again, right?
Yeah,
or maybe Luthen doesn't make it and Cassian takes his ship.
Man, wouldn't that? It would suck.
And Luthen was in the second season.
No, I know, but they could keep Luthen. But they could keep Luthen as
a
prisoner and interrogate him.
And
that could be an early mission for season 2 to try and find Luthen and break him out if he's still alive.
Or maybe they gave us the cliffhanger in this episode with those 2 guys hanging on the cliff. They're cliffhanger for the season, but I think they're going to leave something dangling. But I think before they even maybe early in the episode, they're like, "Oh, boom, surprise!" And then we find out nothing about it for the rest of the show, and the rest of the show goes on its own new pace. But I bet you something whammo happens, and hopefully we get one cameo that we kind of always predicted, or anyone has predicted. I'm not going to pick any particular character, or because it would be a character. I hope we get to see someone, whether it's a Rogue One specific character, an overall Star Wars character that wears a black helmet or a black hood, just hearing their voice, or a hologram of them. Like, we've seen so many holograms and none of them are the Emperor or Darth Vader.
I'd rather, if I had to choose between like Vader or Palpatine, I think I'd rather see a cameo of Palpatine, but see him through the lens of like Imperial propaganda, and not as like, as a Sith, but as the Emperor of like,
Well, because he's not the Emperor right now. He's just Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, isn't he?
No, he's the Emperor.
He's the Emperor.
Yeah, he changed it to, remember his speech? I'm reorganizing us into the Grand Galactic Empire,
But he didn't change his name.
Yeah, that's when you change your name to
the He's already been attacked by Mace Windu?
Yeah. 30 years after that.
15.
Yeah, I guess I guess he is.
Okay,
Or
10
knows.
You're right.
Nobody knows he's wrinkly and gray, though, because he wears a hood. Like, they still think he's an old man with white hair, as far as I know. Like, when they showed him in that doing that speech, John, he looked like this. Yeah. So nobody knows what he looks like. That's why I'm thinking, like, I think Lutheran knows because he's got some Sithy connections. But everyone else, as far as I think they're concerned, he's a senator guy that's gone bad, but they don't know he's Sith.
The public knows what Palpatine looked like before and after. He used his appearance and mangled appearance to say the Jedi maimed me. And
they mangled me.
And I'm,
I got you there. They don't know he's Sith though.
They don't know that. But
public don't know that. Yeah,
they don't know him that way. But it would be interesting to see the Emperor show up in a non-Sith capacity, in more of a political
I agree.
capacity. Right.
But I guess it would be too late, though, right? Like, he would have to communicate with like Deidre's boss, because he'd say, "I talked to the Emperor last night on Skype." Like, it would be have to be like that, right?
I don't think he'd get involved with the politics with Andor specifically. I think the way he would show the way. If I were to introduce Palpatine in this, I would have him, like I mentioned on one of the previous streams, I'd have him waltz into the Senate chambers and like stun all of the senators. Like, holy shit, Palpatine actually showed up.
That'd be a good place.
Do that, or you have some kind of nonchalant kind of propaganda on the holonet, where you just see him on a screen and like, here's a PSA from Emperor Palpatine.
Or right? What if after
join the Empire, see the world?
Serial and Sarge capture Lutheran, and then Sarge perishes. Deidre gets that Skype, the iMessage from the Emperor saying, "Oh, good, congratulations," in his creepy voice.
Yeah. But I don't think he'd get involved at that low level. Like, it's like Palpatine would only interface with like the super high ups in the military and the ISB. Like, Palpatine only communicates with
Tarkin would be good too. Just a quick phone conversation, or
Yularen was the guy I was thinking of.
Yeah, man. There's so many cool characters that they could throw in, and I don't think anyone would complain. But yeah, man, it's about time we see Jimmy Smits. I guess they're saving him for next year.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They're about to start filming it.
It's just a cool character that we'll all recognize and enjoy. Like, we know he's a part of something. I guess he doesn't have to worry about hiding money like Mon Mothma does. Like, he's not a senator, but I guess people don't really monitor his monies, because I'm assuming he donates to.
He's a senator.
He's a senator.
Why wouldn't he be in any kind of similar dismay as Mothma then, or other senators?
He wasn't bankrolling the rebellion with his own personal funds.
Yeah, but he could.
But he wasn't.
Than all the other people. Am I wrong? Is Mon Mothma not? Is he not one of the richer Star Wars characters we've met?
I don't think he is. His wife, the Queen, is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had their own security and their own guards and stuff like that. So it's interesting. We can only 6 more.
But I think by then they don't like the reason Mon Mothma stumbling around is because this sort of thing hadn't been done before, and she didn't really know how to launder her own money,
and she didn't anticipate the increased auditing from the Empire, right?
So
you gotta launder your money properly, man. Come on.
It's kind of like in the office where the guys had to ask, some pizza delivery guy, how do you launder money? They didn't.
You don't pay him with cash. You pay him with favors.
Yeah. You need Saul Goodman, Space Saul Goodman.
Yeah.
Man, this is Space Saul Goodman, if you ask me, man. Like, this is one of my favorite, just dramatic TV shows I've seen in so long. Like, and I'm just happy it's happened to be in Star Wars universe. Like, thank you for giving me the show. I'm really happy with it. I know it has everything to do with you guys. John, you wrote it, and Eric, you produced it, and
that happens in the middle of Star Wars, the first movie there.
When Tarkin walks in, to the Death Star, like
you can kind of see it already, Tez, though, because we've seen 2 or 3 Senate meetings, and the Emperor's not even in there in the middle, and half the Senate isn't even there. They don't show up.
Yeah, it's
starting to degrade anyways. But
how do we know that the Emperor does not go to a hyperbaric chamber every day until we see him in like The Empire Strikes Back?
Well, he very well could. I mean, we don't know.
So maybe he doesn't look as bad.
He doesn't care about what he looks like.
No, but for his health, got it. I know it's not real, but he's got to care about his health, like in a way, like
the Force is keeping him.
Yeah, I think he uses the dark side of the Force
to nourish him. Yeah.
Important character. Like, so Eric, when you said the Senate would be the ideal place for him, absolutely, you're correct. With Mass Amedea and the Star Trek bald chick behind him, like, why not? Like, those are the people he's recognized with. Like, for all the the younger fan generation, those are the characters they recognize, right? Me and John, we recognize, Darth Vader and Red Royal Guards and the Emperor,
they could
finally servants that kind of follow him around.
They could finally bring in the Imperial dignitary and give him lines and have him be a real thing. So then
they actually dialogue, right? And they're much younger.
That stupid action figure that they made will be more meaningful.
Yeah. And they'll finally make the other 3 emperors.
The other 3 action figures will come out.
Please don't.
We got all 4 Imperial dignitaries. Yeah.
Yeah, overall
from Jedi in the
the purple robe guys.
The guys with the funny hats,
Imperial dignitaries, they were called in Kenner days.
They refer to them in the Aftermath novels as kind of Force, like dark side.
Weren't they like acolytes or something?
Yeah, they gave some of them names. I can't remember the specifics, but yeah.
So we're Freedy and Tweety, Panular, the coolest creatures of the show today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I want action figures. I like them.
And where is we didn't get him in Kenobi? Is Dexter Jettster? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Give us a little Dexter Jettster. Just gonna start to say. Yeah, so it was a great show.
He's in the Droids cartoon. He's in the
last
Droids
week's
cartoon.
episode, I think, was a good solid 10 out of 10. This episode, I wish I could say the same, but I'm going to say a 9 out of 10 because of those fucking lawn chairs. Those lawn chairs, 10 out of 10.
That plays no effect on me at all, the lawn chairs.
It does to me, man. It's like,
it's
like the Starbucks coffee in the season finale of Game of Thrones or whatever. Fix your shit, man.
That played no effect on me.
You're meant to erase it in post because you didn't film this yesterday. You filmed this like a year ago and you've had lots of time to fix it. If Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau watched this episode of Andor 8 months ago and said, yeah, those lawn chairs are fucking dope, They didn't. There's no one that said those are good. Let's keep those. So this flew by the radar. It obviously didn't have to get approved by anybody because they wouldn't have included the frickin' lawn chairs in Andor, man.
I just think that they're using everyday objects because they didn't change the flashlight in Book of Boba Fett. The Harbor Freight flashlight. He
got fired from Book of Boba Fett, and sadly they rehired him on this Andor show because he changed his name. They didn't know the same guy, so he's like, "Yeah, I'll just put these lawn chairs in. Nobody will notice nothing."
It doesn't affect me at all.
It was that Imperial guy who wants to hang people.
The Starbucks stuff didn't affect me at all either. It didn't bother me.
But hey, Brian. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I can't wait 6 more days to watch the next one. But I don't know any people. I can't pull no strings. So I guess I'm waiting 6 days unless someone leaks it early.
I don't know what I'm going to do after the next one's done. I'm going to have to wait for
watch Willow. Then we'll have the Willow after show.
Oh, Willow does Willow start right afterwards?
Willow is November 30th, so I believe in right after.
I completely forgot that this was this
I don't
year.
think Willow was 12 episodes of 1 hour episodes. I think it's 6 episodes. So it might be a total of 3 to 4 hours.
But it'll be something until Bad Batch season 2 comes out at least.
Or Mando's in February, right?
Yeah.
All I'm worried about right now is the Christmas Story sequel that comes out, I think, the day before my birthday, November 18th. I don't know what channel it's on. I'm not going to go buy it, but I'll find it. I'll watch it.
HBO here, I think.
Yeah.
I saw the Santa Claus is up. We can watch that.
Man, that's not the Christmas Story. Come on.
They've got the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Come on, we're talking.
Oh yeah, when is that?
I think that's this month. I want to say that might be. I
heard Santa Claus is terrible. Don't watch it. And
what is
the one you brought up? The
Santa Claus? It's that.
I think it's called the Santa Clauses.
Yeah. The whole family has to become Santa.
Yeah, I heard it's really, really bad. He looks like he dresses like a good Santa though. I'll give him all the beard department credit because it looks good. It's not real, but it looks good.
I couldn't be less interested in that one.
You know what I thought was weird?
Oh, go ahead.
This new Black Panther movie.
I haven't seen it yet. Eric, you liked it, right?
Oh, it was good. No, it was a great. It was a great movie. It's one of those things where it's a good movie, but I will never ever be able to sit through and watch it again.
Rumors are it might be on Disney Plus. Like
absolutely nothing happens in this movie. I was like, it's just a giant tribute to Chadwick Boseman. They spent a half hour at the beginning doing a funeral to Chadwick, which is great. It's a good to honor him and what he went through. And in the last half hour is just sitting on a beach, going through all the old scenes, replaying from all the movies he was in. And again, it's the way that it's a chance for the actors and the crew to sort of reminisce and get their feelings out. You could tell that they were getting their feelings out about losing Chadwick. And
I think they had,
and that's what the whole movie was about. The whole movie was basically just a tribute to Chadwick Boseman because, like, I kept going, when does Black Panther appear in the Black Panther movie? And I'm like, 2 hours go by, and then finally Black Panther shows up.
Yeah, they have
and
plans.
And the other weird thing is
and this character he was playing, like it was the biggest movie of all time when it came out, right? It broke all the Marvel records and Star Wars. It broke all the records.
Yeah.
And the guy died at 34, man. Like, there's nothing can be done about it. But they had Captain America did 7 movies? Didn't Thor do 7 movies? Like, Iron Man did 7. It became a part of their life, and their character was so huge to many people, including the Disney and Marvel family. So much planned for this guy. They had to keep it going because there is a big fan base.
Oh yeah.
So I'm glad they made it. I haven't gone to the theater to see it. I haven't been to the theater in a couple of years, but I look forward to seeing it because it was a good movie visually. The special effects.
Oh yeah, this one is great. Yeah.
The accents from all the different actors.
The other issue I had though was
for all those purposes too.
It's the first time also that I think Marvel actually screwed up because the Atlanteans are not like so far everything has been a derivation of the comics, and Namor is definitely in the green shorts and like looks like Namor, except they got the wrong actor. They got a short guy instead of the 6 foot tall that Namor should have been.
But wasn't he like an asshole in the comics? Like
beginning, I thought the casting was pretty good. I like Namor.
No, this guy's nothing like Namor, really. Looks wise and height wise, no way. He's shorter than freaking Siri in that fight at the end.
I'm not. Is he like Aquaman? Does he fuck other fish?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not bothered by it.
And then Atuma and Namora were nothing like their comic book. If they didn't mention their names in the movie, not a single person would know who they were. They were nothing like their. It was the furthest departure that a Marvel film has ever taken.
Well, that was intentional because they wanted it. But that was intentional because they wanted it to be different from the Atlantis kind of route, and they wanted to and they wanted to differentiate from Aquaman, right?
And then there's whatever.
That's ultimately why they.
I just said, well, I was like. In the next time Tuma shows up or whatever, he's gonna look like he's gonna put on his armor and be all like the.
Yeah. What's the guy's name in The Boys? Like McFishman or McFillayman?
Exactly. Yeah.
The deep.
Yeah, that guy's freaking hilarious. Like that show's just extra X's at the end. I don't know. It's a great fun parody of all superhero movies in general. So But it's very different, man. It's so different than watching Andor. Like, I get excited when I watch it because I'm like, holy shit, that guy just went in his pee-pee hole. And holy shit, he just blew up inside that guy's pee-pee hole. And then Andor is just good acting, good dialogue. And then you get a little robot or a creature walk by. So, like, I get all the feels from that. But, yeah, when the really wacky out there shows, too, they do it for me, too, man. Like, but for next week, Betts is asking, what are we all feeling for the finale? We just kind of talked about that. But I think we all agreed Hammerhead will come and save the day.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Just pivoting real quick to another movie. Hey, won't go into details, but if you haven't watched the Weird Al movie,
I did.
You have to watch that. I love that. Yeah. I watched that with my wife. We cracked up. I haven't laughed out loud hard watching a movie.
It was very funny, and I like how they made it extra funny by literally inventing things and then making them seem like they were real. Like it was just
they totally made that shit up.
Yeah, it
was a parody of
a parody of a parody almost.
Yeah.
So
I
good,
loved
man.
it. I loved it.
Daniel Radcliffe did fantastic playing that role, and I hope him and Weird Al, like I saw them do a talk show, like whether it's Fallon or one of those the other day. I hope they become friends for life because it's just a weird, odd couple.
Yeah,
I grew up with Weird Al, and Eric Moore grew up with Harry Potter.
I grew up with Weird Al.
Different people in every way, shape, or form. Like one guy's like royalty, and one guy's like fart cushions and dick jokes.
So many cameos in that movie too.
Very, very, and even the people that were acting as the guy who played Pee Wee Herman and the guy. Who's playing all the different characters. Wolfman Jack. Yeah, like, I don't want to spoil it, but Wolfman Jack was the best Wolfman Jack ever. They couldn't have picked a better Jack.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson parodied my song. How dare he?
I lost my shit.
Yeah. There was not a Michael Jackson in that movie, was there?
No.
I wonder why. Like, I bet you they weren't allowed.
But they said
of all the people you want to parody, you got Madonna, you got Wolfman Jack, you got Pee Wee Herman, and you name it, right? Michael Jackson is what made him freaking famous, but they parodied it to make Michael Jackson seem like he stole it from Weird Al. Like it was so funny that way. Not to spoil the movie, but that's what they did.
They messed with the timeline a little bit too to force in Amish Paradise with Coolio because they said the movie ended in 85, but
exactly.
That didn't come out until the 90s.
Yeah,
so funny, man, and apparently it was all the Funny or Die crew that wrote that as originally like a short or something.
Aaron Paul was in that, and
In the short?
Yeah, he was in the short, the Funny or Die short, and I think he helped produce the movie or something. Yeah.
I think Betts is working on a movie here.
Yeah, I know. They got it down.
If Marva's not dead, then yeah, that's.
Shit. That's a hot take.
Because it's
B2 weird. Would be like all depressed for nothing, and that would be kind of sad.
So I'm not going to reveal this one spoiler image I saw, but it wasn't like as far as like I can't. Yeah, I'm surprised that you would say Marva isn't dead because I truly do believe she's dead. Mon sacrifices her daughter. I don't know if she sacrifices her daughter. I think her daughter wants to be a whore. I mean, a prearranged marriage at 14. You know, I just think
I don't think that because but I don't think Mon Mothma's going to have to. I think that Val's going to
save her ass.
Val's going to tell Luthen what's going on with Mon Mothma, and she's going to get the $400K from Luthen because remember, Mon doesn't know that Val did the heist and that Luthen has the $80 million from the heist. So
yeah.
Val knows, so Val's going to go, listen, Luthen, Mon's in this problem. If we don't help her, it's going to trickle all the way down to us. And then, but we might not see that this season. That could happen next season because I don't think they're going to fit all that stuff in. I think next episode's just the riot on over the thing, and then they're gonna escape at the end, and it's gonna end with like Lutheran or someone saying, "Welcome to the rebellion." And
welcome to the rebellion. I wonder if that's the line.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's and who do you think would say it?
Lutheran's going to be saying it to Andor when they escape.
I think it would. Can you imagine? Okay, if that line sounds perfect, right? Welcome to the rebellion, because I think the episode 1 was called "The Rebellion Begins" or something. Like it was title. Every episode has had a good title, and it's usually a line of dialogue, an important line of dialogue from the episode. This one, the daughter of Ferrix, it was mentioned in the episode, but I don't think it was the most important thing. But if this dude's saying Marva's alive, I don't know. But Lutheran being a former Jedi, so when I was thinking this, even like weeks ago, like, is there a Jedi character? Then I thought, oh, that kid who's like, oh, Master Skywalker. And I'm like, no, it's a different timeline. It can't be any of these younger Jedis. But I mean, he knows something about sticky sticks with laser swords that come out of him.
Luthen had the Kyber crystal too early on.
Yeah.
And he said
Andor still has, right?
And he said no, he gave the crystal to Val. But Val said but unless she gave it back to
okay, so if she gave it back to Lutheran, then there's no reason why any of them should have to kill Andor at this point.
Well, Andor is tied to Luthen, and he's a loose end that they can't account for. But I suppose, but Luthen did say like don't accept anything less than 50,000 for that Kyber crystal earlier on. But
he
said,
you're gonna flip it.
But he said it's worth more to me than it is to you. And why would Kyber be worth more to Luthen, aside from him being like an antiquities kind of dealer? Maybe.
Yeah, Andor doesn't know he's a antique dealer, right?
Wasn't it some weird kind of hybrid crystal where half of it was Kyber and the other half
Sky
was
Kyber? It was something.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was coaxium, but whatever. Okay.
Yeah, so cool. We finally.
I thought it was half coaxium and half Kyber.
That's
why it went from blue to clear.
But I this time next month, I'll know the name of that spaceship. I think I didn't write it down. It wasn't in the credits.
Did they give us a name?
I think
they just refer to Luthen's ship as the Fondor.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
But it's interesting because.
Or is that the fake ID it was given?
Well, no. It's they refer to the ship as the Fondor because that's where it was manufactured, and it's almost as if in the Star Wars universe they refer to ships by the planet they're from. like you would refer to like a Chevy or a Ford, right? You might not say the model, you might just say the manufacturer, the make.
Well, like Razor Crest is also like a model and make. It's not
it's a type of ship. Yeah. It's
so
not
Peter's saying here,
Luthen
is Axl Rose, and he'll come out saying, "Welcome to the jungle." That's actually in that other show that Dave Dimension does the show on.
The Leapcast.
Yeah, but what's the actual show? It's not called. It's called Quantum Leap. Yeah. So the very first Quantum Leap commercial I saw for this series, which I've only got through 3 episodes on, I will go catch them all because I'm interested in it. But the very first commercial they showed, the dude is Axl Rose. So I don't know if that episode's happened yet, but one of the times Sam or whatever the Quantum Leaper guy wakes up and he's like, you can hear Guns N' Roses in the background.
Yeah, that one didn't happen.
He's got the long hair, and he's like, "Whoa!" And they
didn't do the football one with Joe Namath or whatever either. They didn't do. There was a couple of them that were in those trailers that they didn't do yet.
So that
the show's gone
because it looks like he is the Axl Rose.
The show is off. The show is off until January now, so we have to wait.
Okay.
So I don't even know if some of those stuff we saw in the trailers are even going to happen. Or they could have been fake trailers just because whatever,
Yeah, and Luthen does mention here, or Betts mentioned what Luthen describes. He's using his enemies, best things against them if he can, right? Like, so he's already said, whatever he can manipulate, he will. Yeah. So all these spy tactics and stuff. Fuck, man, there's so much stuff we want to see. Like, I bet you there's a twist with Luther. No. I hope he's all the good that we think he is. Like, he's rebel number 1. Like, is that what we're thinking right now? Luther is rebel number 1, like, literally? Or is there someone behind him and Clea whose names rhyme with Clea, and she's 17 years old, hiding behind her daddy's, credit card at home right now? I wonder if she's the character. Oh.
Well,
it's not working.
Only a few more days.
Oh, wait, that's my background. Okay, anyways. What if Leia says, "Welcome to the rebellion"? Drop the mic in her little pajamas because she's 17 years old or something. I'm just saying, like, or Bail Organa or one of the characters we have not even seen or heard their name spoken yet.
Yeah.
The door opens, whoosh, the Star Trek door.
Welcome
to the rebellion.
You see the Lola droid fly in, and then Leia shows. Yeah.
Or it's Bail Organa, and she just happens to be beside him.
Yeah.
She's not little anymore, but she'd be
12 years old.
Yeah, like Mon Mothma's daughter's age, to be honest. Like, right? Not Clea's age. In between Clea and the other one that rhymes with Leia. Like, so it'd be cool.
Well, that would be cool too, is if they had like, Luthen and Andor running through the tunnel, and on the other end, instead of having it be their ship, it would be a ship that had Jimmy Smits on it, and he opens the door and says, "Welcome to the rebellion." There you go.
Anyone saying it would be badass, but if it's just a character it's their debut on this show, like, or familiar actor or character or not, fuck, that'd be cool, man. Be cool. Hopefully it's not like Vader getting on Lutheran's ship and just killing everybody, like everyone but Andor. But yeah, we'll have to wait till next week, guys.
Yep. Looking forward to it.
So thank you to everyone came by in the chat here.
I got to go to bed. I'm already beyond my bedtime.
And I'll leave you with a little commercial, and we'll catch everyone next week. There'll be no Let 'Em Breathe this Saturday. I'm at a toy show on Saturday, so I'll be vending my wares, my extra toys and some pins and patches and whatnot. So if you're in the Pitt Meadows area of British Columbia, Canada on Saturday, which is also my birthday, please stop by the toy show and buy all my shit so I don't got to bring any of it home.
Happy
to bring any of it home, the better. But thanks everyone for stopping by, and we'll catch you next week.
New from Left Coast Graphics,
the Enamelian Falcon spaceship pin. Collect them all